Wolfenstein Youngblood. You know, unfortunately, this game has so many problems with it. It has redeeming qualities, but at the end of the day, it's just not that well. The storyline's not that great. Apparently they removed Fergus and Wyatt, and then they ended up putting microtransactions in this game. There's so many problematic variables in this game, and it's just horrendous. Now, it plays just like Wolfenstein the Colossus, right? With the gun mechanics, the animations, right? But the problem is there's so many holes. I wonder why that they made this game, because if they just kept doing like they did with Wolfenstein the Colossus, everything would have been fine. So they advertised this game as sort of like more into co-op. So what I mean by this is it seemed as if they wanted to say, yeah, you could make this single player, you can play it how you want, but it seems as if they highly factor in, or they favor in, the multiplayer aspect to this game, which I don't really like. You should be able to play the single player and play it multiplayer. What's weird is they don't have it possible where you can have it split screen, which I don't understand, because you would think if you can play multiplayer, it would have split screen, but it's not. Now, as for the storyline, it's really wonky. So this is taking place right after the events of the New Colossus, about in the 1980s, if I remember correctly. Now, apparently, this sort of what it goes down is your father's missing. So the twins try to find him and also lead a revolution at the same time, right? Killing Nazis, the whole, shenanigans, right? But the problem is they're still missing characters, which I don't understand. One of my favorite characters in Wolfenstein is Wyatt. I actually like him. He has that sort of Robert Kennedy sort of feeling, right? The guy who's the leader. But they don't show him at all, nor Fergus, if you chose him. So, in a way, it's as if your choices in the last game had, no effect to a certain extent. Not only that, but this game is riddled with glitches. It's kind of expected considering it released, but it's still just a problem that Bethesda needs to fix. One of the huge complaints I have, though, is the microtransaction part. This game has no new guns. No new guns. You would expect it to be a thing, right? But it's not. But here's where it gets into problems. On the page for microtransactions of Wolfenstein Youngblood, it states that there will be access to new guns with the microtransaction part, which makes you wonder, did they do this on purpose to have no new guns so you would have to pay for the microtransactions? And I think this is kind of ridiculous. You shouldn't have to buy in-game things that were supposed to be added through microtransactions. It shouldn't work like that, right? So this game has so many holes within sort of the aspect of the game, and I don't understand why the microtransactions is even a thing, because the New Colossus didn't have this, the New Order didn't have this, and it seems as if they're just trying to push microtransactions, which they shouldn't, right? Not only that, but I do want to say that for the storyline of the characters, for the main two female protagonists, their character is just not very well done, it seems. There are some weird cutscenes when they're in the elevator, and for me personally, I don't like the way they're represented in a way. It just doesn't seem realistic, I have a sister myself, I got a sibling, but we don't do, it just doesn't seem something that seems realistic in a way, right? And it is sort of cringy to a certain extent. I think there's a scene where one of them vomits, and I'm like, I guess that's comedy nowadays. So there were some parts of me, and I know this could be different for you, but my antidote when I was playing this game is the characters just didn't seem very fun to sort of be around or to play as, and it didn't really make sense. Now, are the gameplay mechanics fun? Oh yeah, it's fun. You're killing Nazis, but one of the problems I did want to say is that it appears as if they turned the enemies into bullet sponges. They sort of try to make this kind of like Skyrim. The fact that it's open world, there's health bars now, which is really weird because you didn't have that in the New Colossus, so it's as if they're trying to push that very heavily, putting more RPG elements into it. So if you were hoping to, play a game like the New Colossus, that is not what's going to happen. There are some bugs with the revive setting, so let's say you go down, your friend or your character, the other protagonist of the game, will try to help you up, but sometimes there's problems with that, as if maybe it's glitched out, so sometimes you wouldn't even get revived. It's really weird. So your teammate, it seems, doesn't even really help, so you're wondering what's the purpose of you if you're not gonna help me out. And I'll probably put some videos to explain sort of this better with the visual aspect of it, but it just seems that this game was incomplete. We kind of bought Fallout 76 again. And as for the direction of the tone of the game, I don't understand where it's trying to head. Is it trying to be realistic? Is it trying to be serious with the tone of drastic death, you know, as the previous Colossus? You know, there was huge, you know, deaths, right? You had Caroline Becker who died. So, you know, it was tragedy almost to a certain extent as for the tone of the Colossus. But it seems as if for this game, it's trying to go fun while it's trying to go serious, and it's like, okay, I don't know which direction you're trying to go for the game. So there was tons of different tones that were trying to go. I don't understand why they were trying to just make it fun, because it was really weird, because the New Order and the Colossus, you know, it was kind of serious. You know, you had the whole World War II sort of, you know, tone of it being serious as for your choices had impact. They had seriousness, even if it was just one choice, which was Wyatt versus Fergus, right? So it seemed as if this game was not finished. It's riddled with microtransactions. There's a huge RPG element that they're trying to push for, which I don't really like, because when it came to the new Colossus, I bought it specifically because it's kind of like Doom. It has that aspect of you know, you feel powerful. But now with the RPG element of the game, you just feel mundane, if that's the proper word to use here, or you feel powerless. You don't feel like BJ Blazkowicz, you know, just killing everything in your path. You don't feel like that anymore. Now, if I had to give this out of a 1 out of 10, I honestly would probably give this a 4.5. This game needs an update. This game needs, honestly, to be finished. There's still glitches to this game, and it still feels incomplete to a certain extent. The storyline is okay, but if you're trying to, you know, if you want to see Wyatt or Fergus, I mean, your luck's out. You're not going to see any of them, which I was hoping to, because, again, Wyatt is one of my favorite characters. He's got that Robert Kennedy sort of tone with him. I mean, is it fun? Yeah, it's fun. It's, you know, if you want to play it, it's, you know, hey, it's pretty cheap. I think it's like $30, and it might drop even more. But as for myself, personally, I don't feel that this game's for me. It's not a game I would purchase again if I had the choice to. And honestly, I you know, halfway through the game, I just quit. I just couldn't take it anymore. There were some problems where I'm like, why is this happening? Where the enemy's just glitching out, where the AI is just completely not even seeing me at some point. I think there's a time where I was actually behind an object, and somehow the AI couldn't tell that I was there. So it was like weird, because the AI wasn't working. But I do have to emphasize that they put a huge RPG element into it. So if you're looking for kind of like what the new Colossus was, that's not what it's going to be. It's going to be sort of like Skyrim, except Fallout 76, pretty much. It's pretty much Fallout 76. I do want to emphasize, it kind of is like Fallout 76. You have a health bar, it's bullet sponges, you know, they try to incorporate stuff of the RPG element, which I appreciate, but don't do that. This is the Colossus. This is Wolfenstein. You don't do that. The villain also was a tad bit, you know, I will say, the villain was not that great. It was just the stereotypical Nazi, and even the previous villain, she had some great character development, you know. In the New Order, she was known to kind of even give you sort of the benefit of the doubt. Like, she kind of suspected that you might have been an ally or something like that, but then she was like, maybe you're an actual Nazi because you're giving these tests, right? But then, you know, the character progression of her, what I'm trying to say here is the villain's not great for Wolfenstein Youngblood. It's the stereotypical Nazi, and he doesn't really have a routine or sort of a goal in mind, right? He's just there to be filled in, right? So I don't understand what the villain's motive too is. So I don't understand what was going on with that. You know, the new Colossus, there was a strong female villain. So if they're trying to disprove a message. I don't know. It was just weird. This game was all over the place. There wasn't a clear direction, a clear tone. There's no new weapons. And again, this game is riddled with glitches. So if you're trying to get a game like that, I guess this is the game for you. But personally, this is not my game. It's not what I was expecting, especially with the RPG elements. So again, I wouldn't get it if I were you. It's not the new Colossus. It's not the new Order. It's Youngblood. Completely different. But I will say, the one thing I did enjoy was the music. The music was fantastic, actually. I loved it. It was like the usual synthwave, vaporwave, however you want to say. It was excellent. I liked it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Short little video. I did play it for a bit, but then I ended up, not gonna lie, try to refund it, so, well, I did. But anyways, just wanted to make a little quick review here. I did want to say Wolfenstein Youngblood is not the game you think it is. It's not like the new Colossus. It's not like New Order or any of the previous incarnations of the game. So it's its own little Fallout 76 typical game, I guess you could say, with microtransactions, by the way. So if you're looking for microtransactions, well, this is the game for you. Well, that's about it. My name's Mick. If you like the content that I'm doing, feel free to subscribe or check out my Twitter. That's in the description below. I will see you guys later. And again, I'll try to make another review. I'll have to see where the content goes and how this video goes, but I think it might do well. I'll see you guys in a bit. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you guys later.